There have been a lot of takes about New York Jets quarterback Justin Fields all offseason long. Some positive, some negative, but the latest one from a reporter is just entirely asinine. And we're going to break it down right here on a Monday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. Plus, it's game week, baby. Let's ride.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Long.
You are listening to NY Flight Jets Talk. Here's your host, Connor Long.
Yes, you are indeed listening to NY Flight Jets Talk, baby, streaming live right here on YouTube and Twitter. Thank you all for tuning in with us right here on this beautiful Monday evening. Happy Labor Day to everyone. It's Labor Day, but we're still bringing you Jets content. I'm your host, Connor Long, right here with you guys on the show. Make sure you drop down below if you haven't already and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button, baby, because that is the free way to support the show, and it really goes a long way. We're chasing 3,000 subscribers by the end of the season, baby. We're already at 2,071 is the live subscriber count, so get us there. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, helps pump out the content, and is completely free of charge. Shout out to all of you guys joining us. Again, this is the second show in a row, I think it is. I throw a PSA in the chat. The call-in link is not working for some reason in YouTube, but I will guarantee you for tomorrow's show, I'm going to have to work with YouTube. I'm going to have to do, a whole investigative project, if you will, on what is happening. To my understanding, it's not affecting any other content creator, only us, unfortunately. So I will do some digging. I will check it out, and I will make sure you guys are able to call in again starting tomorrow's show. I'm so sorry for that inconvenience. However, that doesn't mean you guys still can't engage in the show. If you throw your questions, your comments, your thoughts in the chat, you guys know we always tether through them. We always get to them, so load all of the questions, the comments, the thoughts up in the chat for us to get to. I'm your host, Connor Long, right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets Talk. Plus, don't forget about the paid way to support the show. See it on the scrolling ticker down below. Also gives you an opportunity to win some pretty cool prizes. You can get into our membership raffle, baby. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an opportunity to win a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a Nick Mangold signed jersey, a CJ Mosley signed jersey, a Bart Scott signed photo, a Don Maynard signed photo, and then the front page of the New York Daily News following the Jets' 1969 Super Bowl victory. That, of course, coming in a frame. Every $2 super chat gifted membership gives you an entry. You see the details on the scrolling ticker down below. Questions, comments, thoughts, load all of those up in the chat for us to get to. The main topic that I'm going to start off with right here on the show is a take that came by way of an from a New York Post reporter. He covers the Jets. He covers the NFL. He was appearing with Zach Gelb on WFAN, and us as Jet fans, myself as a reporter, as an analyst covering this team, I've heard a lot of positive takes. I've heard a lot of negative takes about Justin Fields from pundits, from fans, all offseason long. I tend to be on the more optimistic side regarding Fields. I understand if you're not all that optimistic on Justin Fields, but there comes a boundary where you just can't be that low on Justin Fields. And New York Post, NFL, and New York Jets reporter Ryan Dunleavy crossed that boundary talking to Zach Gelb on WFAN. We'll break down what he had to say. Take a listen.
Do you think people could expect to see out of Justin Fields this year? What would be a solid season for Justin Fields under center with the Jets?
Well, those are two different questions, Zach. What do I think people will see? I think they'll see the same Zach. I think they'll see the same Justin Fields that they've always seen, which is a good running quarterback who is not a very good passer. He can run the RPO game. He can do a lot of screens. I think the Jets running backs will have tons of catches. It'll be Garrett Wilson, and then it'll probably be Breece Hall and Braylon Allen as number 2 and 3 receivers on this team. I think that's what you can expect to see, not a very one-dimensional offense. What would be a solid season? A solid season would be like Daniel Jones in 2022, where he plays, caretaker ball, I think Daniel had like 15 touchdowns and 5 picks that year, something like that, where you mix in his legs, like Daniel mixed in his legs that year, and you let the defense win you the games. They have a decent offensive line, so you could do that formula. It doesn't leave you margin for error. But if you're asking me what a successful season for Justin Fields looks like, it's that. But you're also talking to somebody who thinks, all things being equal, if he's healthy, Tyrod Taylor's a better quarterback than Justin Fields.
No, do you really do think that? Why is that?
I think he's better. I mean, I've seen him in practice for 4 years between the Giants and Jets. I've seen him in games. He takes more chances. He makes more plays happen. We call Tyrod Taylor, among the media, we call him an agent of chaos, because when he's out there, he's running around, he's throwing the ball deep. He makes things happen. He's not out there to play caretaker or whatever. The problem is his style leads him to get injured a lot. I think he's had 4 or 5 concussions, a bunch of other injuries. He doesn't protect himself. He plays backyard quarterback. But that can win you some games. It can't sustain 17 games, as we've seen, but there's no question in my mind. I see enough, not just in New York, but across the league, enough bad quarterbacks that Tyrod Taylor is a top 32 quarterback in this league. He's just too old and too injury prone at this point to get.
There's a lot to unpack there from Dunleavy. Where I'm going to start, folks, is the narrative that he put out there that Justin Fields is just going to play caretaker football. And look, a lot of people talk about that right away when you bring up Justin Fields and what he's done throughout his career. Is caretaker football setting the single game rushing record in NFL history? Is caretaker football making your first organization that you were drafted by with the number 11 overall pick trade away the first overall pick after you had a season in which you received MVP votes? Is playing caretaker football leading a team to a 4-2 record? And then he goes out and he calls Justin Fields a poor passer, a bad passer. Look, I'm not here to stick up for Justin Fields in the way and say he's a better passer than Jared Goff. He's in the same echelon of a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady pocket passer. He's not near that level, and he doesn't need to be because that's not his style of play. But to call him a poor passer, I think, is just undermining his talent and what he's done throughout his NFL career. He's continued to elevate his passing game year in and year out. Last year, 6 games with the Steelers, 6 starts, 4-2 record, 65.8% completion rate. His completion rate has gone up every single year that he's been in the NFL. This is someone who is 9-8 over his past 17 starts. His passer rating has been around league average. He's continued to minimize turnovers. Plus, going back to that caretaker narrative, does a caretaker give his wide receiver 1,300 yards? DJ Moore with the Chicago Bears just a couple years ago. Does a caretaker quarterback feed his wide receiver like that? No. I think caretaker was the bad word there for Justin Fields that really caught my attention and really caught my eye. Also, the fact that he thinks Justin Fields' ceiling is what Daniel Jones did with the Giants in 2022, where they went 8-1, I think it was, or 9-8-1. Yeah, 8-1, I think it was, and that's the year they got into the playoffs, where they accidentally won that amount of games and went into the playoffs with Brian Dable, and it tricked the Giants into thinking Daniel Jones was their guy, and they ultimately paid him. I think Justin Fields has a way higher ceiling than that. When you talk about Daniel Jones, he's a starting quarterback in the league right now, but I can name 32 quarterbacks better than Jones. Look, I know a lot of the media who's there at training camp practice every day is going to get hung up on the fact that Justin Fields hasn't looked the best throughout training camp. He went 1 of 5 in the final preseason game. But when you look at the regular season and what Fields has done since he was drafted, he's gotten better every single year. He's improved as a passer. In my opinion, he's one of the best dual threat options in the league. This is the best offensive line that he's been behind during his entire career. These are the best running backs that he's played with in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. So you have the strong rushing attack to complement his dual threat ability. Frankly, I think that take was abysmal from Ryan Dunleavy, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's agree to disagree on Justin Fields. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there watching the show who agree with me, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there also watching the show and saying, Connor, you're crazy. Look, again, I mentioned at the top of the show, there are 2 different spectrums when you look at Justin Fields. There's the overly optimistic side of things. There's the optimistic side of things. Then there's the kind of just going off what he's shown throughout his career, kind of base level average. You don't think he's capable of being a stopgap guy. You think he's a high-end backup, low-end starter. And then there's the pessimistic side. I'd say I'm a little higher than that average realm. I'd say I'm optimistic on Fields. And I'm sure you guys would have to agree with that. I know you guys watch the show, you guys hear my take. So I'd say I'm optimistic on Fields. And I understand those who think he is just a low caliber starter and a high level backup. Those who just like to look at stats, don't like to look at the circumstances. I understand that, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But I think this take from Ryan Dunleavy is from the New York Post, Jets reporter and NFL reporter for the New York Post, is just undermining what Justin Fields has done throughout his career from an athletic standpoint, from an improvement standpoint, and just also looking at the situations that he's been in. With Chicago, he had one of the worst offensive lines we've seen in such a long time. He had no protection there. Not to mention, the play calling in Chicago was awful. The play calling was among the worst we've seen really since 2010. Luke Getsy is the offensive coordinator there, former Packers head coach. I think he ranked 28th, 29th in the league in play caller efficiency his final year there in 2023. Again, let's not forget, this is someone who received MVP votes the second year of his NFL career. This is someone that made the Chicago Bears trade away the number 1 overall pick in the draft because of what they saw out of him. So again, I just think it's undermining what Fields has done throughout his career, how he's continued to develop. But ultimately, this is the test. It's Justin Fields' last chance as a starter in New York. If he's not able to make it work in New York with his wide receiver one from Ohio State, with the perfect offensive line in front of him, with a scheme tailored to him for the first time in his NFL career, if he's not able to make it work here as a starter, he's not going to make it work anywhere. I agree with the fact that this is his final crack at it, his final opportunity to prove who he is. Because the Jets are handing him the keys to this offense, handing him the keys to this team for the 2025 season in a way. And it's his opportunity to make it work. The second thing that Ryan Dunleavy mentioned there in that clip appearing with Zach Gelb on WFAN, he spoke about Tyrod Taylor and how he thinks starting Tyrod Taylor would equate to more wins than Justin Fields. We could have the debate that if it's one game, week 1 of the season, who do you want to put out there, Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor? You could have the debate. You could strongly compel a case as to why it's Justin Fields. You could also strongly compel a case as to why Tyrod Taylor is the answer. If it's just one game, who do you want as your quarterback to go win your football game? There could be an argument. There could be a discussion to be had there. But when you talk about who should be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, it's undoubtedly Justin Fields. You guys know I'm a huge Tyrod Taylor advocate. I've been a huge Tyrod Taylor fan since he's came to the Jets. And when you talk about the creme de la creme of backup quarterbacks in the league, when you talk about the elite guys, Tyrod Taylor for me is the best backup quarterback in all of football. However, he can't stay healthy. You start Tyrod Taylor, you don't know if he's starting for you in week 6. That's who Tyrod Taylor is. He's the perfect backup, however. Perfect backup. 24-24-1 is his record throughout his career when he's gotten an opportunity to start. A perfect backup. You can't ask for a better backup in the league than Tyrod Taylor. Don't get me wrong there. But again, to say that he should be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, I think is flat out ridiculous. You have no upside with Tyrod Taylor. I think inking Tyrod Taylor as the starting quarterback, penciling him in as that on the depth chart, is essentially throwing the year away in the sense that everyone's looked at it as an experiment year. See what you have. You're trying to catch lightning in a bottle with Fields. You're trying to see what you have in Aaron Glenn. You're trying to see what you have in these new high upside pieces you took in the draft, you picked up in free agency. I think starting Tyrod Taylor, who's 36 years old, would throw that out the window. And just talking about how fragile he is and the analogy that I made there, that if you start Tyrod Taylor over the year, you don't know if he's ready for week 6. He had to get a knee scope just a couple weeks ago. Aaron Glenn's confident he's ready for week 1. We don't know where he's going to be health-wise, if he's fully ready to go for week 1. This is someone who had to get a knee scope someone who didn't play in the preseason, someone who didn't get hit once the whole summer, 36 years old and already had to get his knee scoped. That's just another testament to the injuries that Taylor has had to deal with. Another reason why I think it's flat out ridiculous for those who think Tyrod Taylor should be the starting quarterback on this football team over Justin Fields. Again, everyone's entitled to their own decision, but frankly, I think what Ryan Dunleavy said there of the New York Post with Zach Gelb on WFAN was ridiculous. I want to hear your thoughts, however, guys. So load up all of your questions, your comments, your thoughts in the chat. We're going to begin to get to those. Make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe because it is completely free and helps the channel grow a ton. Don't forget about our membership raffle. Details on that provided on the scrolling ticker down below. Every $2 super chat. Gifted membership gives you an entry. You become a member, you get an entry on top of that as well. So shout out to you guys. We appreciate the support. And thank you all for tuning in right here on NY Flight Jet Talk. Again, questions, comments, thoughts, throw all of those in the chat. We are going to get to those. We appreciate the hell out of you guys. We appreciate your support, as always, right here on this Monday evening. Labor Day, baby. Shout out to all you guys enjoying your Labor Day. Hope everyone had a great barbecue. Hope everyone enjoyed the beautiful day as it was right out here on Long Island. It's September, baby, and it is game week 6 days away, folks. Isn't that crazy? I feel like last year, with all the hype, with all the anticipation of Aaron Rodgers, this whole team, we were counting down from like 6 weeks away. Now we're 6 days away, and there's been hype, the storylines, the anticipation, but it hasn't been to that same caliber that we saw over the past years with Aaron Rodgers. I just find it interesting. Like, it's crazy to think a week from today, we're either going to be through the moon talking about this team and talking about what they did to Aaron Rodgers coming in to their home turf at MetLife Stadium, or we're going to be ripping this team and we're already going to hear the Fire Aaron Glenn stuff from this fan base. So we don't know, but a week from today, we will know that answer. Shout out to Brian Glick. Thank you for tuning in, Brian. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Alan. We appreciate you tuning in here on the show. This is whether it's Justin or Tyrod, the Jets better hope to find their franchise quarterback next April. The talks of the 2026 draft class, Alan, for who the Jets are going to get at the quarterback, or they're going to use a first-round pick on the quarterback, where they're going to be picking. Those talks are already underway with week 1 of the college football season still ongoing. Bill Belichick playing right now, coaching his first college game against TCU. Look, in my opinion, is Justin Fields the franchise guy for the Jets? Absolutely not. I'm optimistic on Fields. Could he? Sure. Do I think he is? Definitely no. This is the experiment year. You see what you have with Fields, and I've already heard people have the conversation. Well, if Fields does this, and this, if Fields goes 10-7, and the Jets make the playoffs, do they still use their first round pick on a quarterback? Do they still trade up for a quarterback? My whole thought process with all the quarterback talk, with all the crazy circumstances of, well, if the Jets make the playoffs, so they draft a quarterback. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. It's September 1st. The Jets are 6 days away still from their first game. We have not seen Justin Fields suit up in a Jets uniform for the regular season yet. I'm just calming everything down here when we talk about the quarterbacks for next year's draft already. I'm waiting to see how everything plays out. That's my mentality. That's my mindset. And look, come January, we might be like, you got to trade up to the 5th overall pick and you got to take Lenore Sellers, or you're saying Justin Fields just brought us to the Super Bowl. We're not drafting the quarterback. Again, we don't know. It's probably closer to the first option I laid out, but still, we do not know. Nevertheless, Alan, thank you for tuning in. And thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you drop down below and smash that like button and hit subscribe, baby. Chasing 3,000 subs ahead of the season. We are currently at 2,073 subscribers, so continue to smash the like button. Continue to hit subscribe. It is completely free of charge, and it continues to support the show. Thank you all for joining us. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. Questions, comments, thoughts, folks. Continue to load all of those up in the chat. We are going to continue to tether through those right here on the show. We'll open it up now. 20 minutes in, gave all my takes. It's Q&A style. So whatever you guys want to hear, whatever you guys want to throw out, whatever you guys want to ask me about, load all of that up in the chat, and we will get to that, folks. Shout out to all you guys. 126 you guys watching us right here on YouTube. So smash the like button, hit subscribe. It is completely free of charge. We're chasing 3,000 subs, baby. Help get us there. I guarantee you, All 126 watching live are not subscribed. So just check if you haven't already. Boom, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Get us to 3,000 and hit that like button as well. We only got 21 likes I'm seeing right now on YouTube. Yeah, 21 likes. Come on, guys. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe again. Questions, comments, thoughts. Keep them flowing in the chat. We are going to get to them. Momo in the building. Shout out to you, Momo. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. We appreciate the support. As always, shout out to you. Hope you enjoyed your Labor Day. Gil says good morning. Oh, that was a bad voice crack. Gil says good morning. Evening, Jets fam. Connor, you're killing it, young man. Gil, that means a lot, my friend. Thank you. We appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the support, as always, right here on the show. Shout out to you. See, you're a channel member as well. So thank you for supporting the show in the paid way. You're the best, Gil. Shout out to you, my friend. And thank you for the kind words, brother. 6 days away, Brian. You nailed it. Less than a week away. I still can't get over it. I still cannot get over it, folks. The Jets are playing in 6 days. 6 days. Our New York Jets play a football game that matters. I can't wait, baby. I can't wait. We have coverage every day, all week long. I think we're going to have a guest Tuesday through Saturday, and then the pregame show, obviously, Sunday. So, yeah, we're going to have a ton of insight, a ton of content coming here on the channel, and great to see all you guys on board, continuing to support the show with the like button, continuing to hit subscribe. It goes a long way, baby. Thank you all. We appreciate it, and we appreciate the support. By the way, as we speaking of guests, we got a guest locked in for tomorrow. As the texts come in, Antoine Staley of the New York Daily News will join us tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST. So stay tuned for that, folks. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to you all. We appreciate everyone tuning in right here on the show. Look, Brian, everyone says, you're blind about your Jets optimism. Look, everyone says in April and May and June, I'm not accusing you of this. I'm just saying the Jet fans in general, myself included, or at the end of the season especially, we're done with this team. We're done with this organization. I'm not watching the game. Justin Fields signed with them. Well, they're winning 6 games. They're winning 4 games. It doesn't matter. And then training camp starts. The clips get us excited. Then the preseason starts. Then you're 1 week away from the real thing, and you're all bought in. Let's hope it's for real this time, though. Because Aaron Glenn has done everything he can to change the narrative of the same old Jets. Well, a ton of coaches have done that before Glenn as well. So let's see if the narrative gets changed. It starts Sunday. If you lose Sunday, I think, and I'm not just saying it, because it's week 1, it's any other team. I think week 1 is the most important game on the Jets calendar. Most important game on the Jets calendar. Just because of the storylines entering it, just because of this whole offseason of anticipation that we've had for this new era of football, because you're facing off against Aaron Rodgers, who you blatantly moved on from earlier on in the offseason. The Jets have to win week 1. Because also, you have tough opponents after you square off against Pittsburgh. 0-1 heading into Buffalo. You're at home, but playing Buffalo. You could lose that game, then you're 0-2 heading into Tampa. Like, you just set yourself up to spiral out of control. If you start 0-3, your season is over in the NFL. Especially a team like the Jets that rides in waves of momentum, that can catch fire. You need to get off to a hot start. You really, really do. And again, it starts by winning in week 1. Andrew in the building says, RPO, let's go. RPOs are going to be fun this year. I think the closest glimmer that we got of Ted Rangstrand's innovative, creative offense throughout the preseason was seeing the jet sweeps with Arian Smith. Like, we're going to see a lot of those this season, folks. A lot of those. A lot of sending guys in motion, a lot of the jet sweeps. Look, more motion, more success. That's the motto for me when you talk about having an innovative play caller, when you talk about commanding a successful offense. Motion is what wins in the NFL. And the Jets have those pieces to send in motion and make plays for you. So I'm looking forward to the gadget plays for sure. Let's see. Chris B in the building. Chris, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for tuning in right here on the show. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, continue to smash the like button. Continue to hit subscribe. Load up all the questions, the comments, the thoughts in the chat. By the way, I haven't done a better job of saying this, but even if you watch after the fact, I know a lot of people comment after the fact. Even if you're watching after the fact, I see all the comments. So continue, because I know we have and it's the same people I notice mostly each episode. A lot of people who can't catch the show live, but the hundreds that watch after the fact. Definitely continue to throw the comments in, continue to smash the like, hit subscribe. Same rules apply to you guys. Also, I learned if you want to get into the membership raffle and you can't answer live, hit that super thanks button, and it allows you to kind of send in a post-show super chat that gets implemented in the comments. So if any of you want to get in on the raffle, you could do that as well. Just because you missed the show live doesn't mean that you can't get yourself a raffle entry. Shout out to all the replay gang out there. Shout out to everyone. I think that's what we'll call it, the replay gang. Shout out to all of you guys. NY Jets FL, shout out to you, Ted. Thank you for tuning in. Momo says, Connor, how could you say you're optimistic when you have the Jets winning 6 games? I do not have the Jets winning 6 games. Momo, last time we did the record, I know you were watching. I said 7. Josh was the one who said the Jets will win 6 games. I think when you talk about pessimistic Jet fans, you could be anywhere in the realm with this team of 3 to 6 wins. And then the glass half full, you're anywhere from 7 to 10 wins. I'm right in that 7-win, 8-win range when you talk about a record prediction for this team. They could win 8 games. They could win 9 games. When I mentioned optimism, though, Momo, earlier in the show, I was talking to that of which applies to quarterback Justin Fields and expectations that this team, that this fan base has regarding Fields and what he's going to do this season. When you talk about Fields in particular, I'm more optimistic than him on most. Not record predictions, I'm pretty much in the middle to slightly more optimistic. But Fields, I am way more optimistic than most are when you talk about what he's going to do for this organization and how his 2025 season is going to play out. And oh, baby, DNY for life wants some more raffle entries. He drops a 5-pack of gifted memberships, baby.
Breaking news!
Shout out to you, Devin. Thank you so much for your support. As always, right here on the show. Hear your name called. Thank you, Devin, for your gifted membership, baby. D-Van G, Milk D109, Lib, New York Nick, Mickey, and Purple Belt Mike. You are all channel members, thanks to our good friend DNY for life, baby.
Can't wait.
Shout out to you, DNY for life. Thank you so much for your support, Devin. That gets you 5 raffle entries right here on the show. Again, guys, every $2 super chat gifted membership gives you an entry. We appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we appreciate your support as always right here on NY Flight Jet Stock. Intro music in the building. Shout out to you, Intro. Yes, sir, Andy. Thank you for tuning in. And yes, folks, hit the like, hit subscribe. Let's see if we gained any subs since we last checked. See if any of you guys are listening. Nope, we're still at 2,073, but we're hitting 3K by the end of the year. So hit the like and hit subscribe, folks. Shout out to you, Andy. Shout out to all of you guys joining us right here on the show. Again, guys, I know all you want answers your questions and your comments, your thoughts. Continue loading them up because we're going to continue to get to them. I'm going in chronological order unless the super chat or a membership comes in Devin's case right there. And a super chat has come in, baby. Gotham FC Jets wants in on the raffle action. He submits a $5 super chat, baby.
You play to win the game.
Gotham FC Jets. Shout out to you, my friend. That gets you 2 more raffle entries right here on the show. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the $5 super chat, guys. Keep the super chats, keep the memberships flowing. They help support the show and allow us to upgrade in multiple different facets. So shout out to you, Gotham FC Jets. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see the Utah game. I just saw clips of Nico Iamaleava that I'm talking about and how he struggled 50% completion, I think it was. I did not watch the later night games of college football, but look, I'm all into those guys, Gotham FC Jets, where, maybe Fields has a great year. You don't use a first-round pick on your quarterback. You don't go all in, but then you take someone in the 3rd or 4th round, use them as a developmental piece. So I am all in on that. I am going to do all my draft prep as always. Those who have watched the show year in and year out know that we talk draft from January all the way through April, and it's very, very in-depth draft talk. So we will certainly have coverage on that as the draft season heats up, baby. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate the support as always. Shout out to you, Gotham FC Jets, for the super chat, guys. Get every $2 super chat gift and membership gives you an entry. Momo says, Connor, what do you think of the Gotham City unis? Good question here. Really good question from Momo. I don't think we actually spoke about these here on the show. I'll try to pull up a picture of what the Jets tweeted out and what exactly they look like, but they're interesting. They're really interesting. It was rumored for a while that they would be gray. They turned out to be gray. I don't hate them. I don't love them. Like I'm not one of those fans out there who's like, oh my god, I need to buy this jersey now. First off, they're wearing it in one game. Keep that in mind as well. They're wearing it in one game, and look, I'm not buying this jersey. It's fine. Look, if this was turned into one of their primary uniforms, one of their three main uniforms, then I'd have some criticisms. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's meh. It's fine. But we did not really get into it on the show, Momo. So thank you for asking about that again. It's okay. It's meh. It's one game. It's a partnership with Nike. So be it. So be it. No, don't love it. Don't hate it. Rob Jake in the building. Shout out to you, Rob. Thank you for tuning in. Says, Connor, give me the scoops. Jets have interest in Myers or not. So, Rob, unfortunately, unlike Cut Down Day where we were cooking on Twitter, I don't have any inside info right now on Myers. If I had to make a prediction, though, again, no inside info, just a personal prediction, I don't think they trade for a wide receiver too, including Myers, ahead of week 1. I don't think they want to give up any more draft capital. I don't think it makes logical sense to have a wide receiver 2 come in at this juncture less than a week before week 1, pick up an entire new scheme. And frankly, I don't think Justin Fields throws the football enough. I've spoken about that here on the show. I don't think Justin Fields throws the football enough to make it make sense to bring in a wide receiver 2 and spend premier draft capital. And then Myers is a whole different tier. He's about to pick up a big contract. You'd have to give up probably a 3rd round pick to bring Myers in. That's nothing against him. He's a great receiver. I just don't think the Jets are the right landing spot when you talk about what you'd have to give up also financial wise. And the fact that the Jets, I don't really think they're going to throw the football that much this season. But nevertheless, thank you for the comment, Rob. We appreciate you tuning in. Jet Nation in the building says, do you think Fields can be the franchise QB? Kenny, sure. Is it likely? Absolutely not. Look, and again, I'm more optimistic on Fields. I've reiterated that multiple times throughout this program. He can be the franchise guy. Are the odds in his favor? No. But look, you can compile a compelling case as to why Fields will be here past 1 year. I think he's the starting quarterback game 1 next season. So you could certainly think of a reason as to why you think Fields is going to be the franchise guy. If he shows it this year, you win 10 games with Justin Fields this year, you're going to change a lot of people's opinions. But look, I think he's a stopgap guy for this team who is the bridge to drafting the QB. And it can't hurt. These are experiment years. I'd rather spend an experiment year trying to see what you have in Justin Fields and giving him a final crack at it and realizing there's that glimmer of hope there than trying to crack a 9-win season out of Aaron Rodgers. So I'm on board with the move 100%. He can be the franchise guy. Odds are not his favor. Thank you for tuning in. Jets Nation. Eli in the building. Shout out to you, Eli. Appreciate you tuning in right here on this beautiful Monday evening. It says, Connor, if you took the top 100 QBs of all time, how many Jets would be on that list? Great question. Okay. Top 100. Obviously, Joe Namath won. He was 100th, I think, on the top 100 NFL players when they did that exercise about 5 or so years ago. So obviously, Joe Namath. Top 100 of all time. That's tough. Are you talking about based on what they did with the Jets or all time throughout their career? Like you can make a case for a bunch of different guys. The two that come to my mind after Namath are obviously Chad Pennington and Vinny Testaverde. Those are the two main names that you think of. I'm just pulling up the list of all the quarterbacks that they've had. Brett Favre would obviously be on that list if you're counting his entire career. Again, you can make a case for Joe Flacco if you're talking entire career. Rodgers, if you're talking entire career. Ken O'Brien. For the sake of this, I don't know if Eli's in the chat still, but I know we have still 136 of you guys watching. So I'll just say if you're going based on what they did throughout their Jets career, I'd say Joe Namath, Vinny Testaverde, and then Fitzpatrick's on that fringe. I'd say Vinny Testaverde, Chad Pennington, No, just Vinny Testaverde and Namath, excuse me. Pennington, another guy on the outside looking in. Him and Fitzpatrick are the two guys for me on that outside looking in. Oh, Eli follows up. He says, I would like to limit it to QBs that played the majority of their career with their Jets. So then in that case, I just go Namath, Testaverde, and then Ken O'Brien's the tough call. Look, I think he can name about 100 quarterbacks better than Ken O'Brien. I think he's right in that realm now. For the sake of it, I'll just say Namath and Testaverde because Namath brought this team a Super Bowl, and Vinny Testaverde was playing in a game where the Jets had a lead going into the second quarter with the Super Bowl on the line. That, of course, being the AFC Championship game in 1998. So I'll keep it just to Vinny Testaverde and, obviously, Joe Willie Namath. Those are my two guys. Great question from Eli there. And you guys have had great questions all show long. So continue to pepper those in as we continue to go through them, tether through them, analyze them right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts. We're going to continue to get to those. We appreciate the support as always. Cuca Jet Fan. I think this might be Cuca Lake Jet Fan who just changed his name. Shout out to you. If it's Cuca Lake Jet Fan, if it's not, it's his fantasy draft tonight. Couldn't help it, and I drafted Hall and G. Wilson. Depends which round you got them in, Cuca Jet Fan, but it's a solid. Those are solid fantasy players still. Especially Garrett last year. A lot of people. Garrett was productive in fantasy last year. Brees not so much. If you're still in the chat, clarify which rounds, and I'll analyze the pick. They're a big fantasy guy myself. And speaking of big fantasy guy, I have 3 drafts tomorrow, 3 high-stake drafts that involve buy-ins. 2 of which I will be doing live on air. So I will be doing 2 fantasy drafts while managing and running and doing an interview with Antoine Staley of the New York Post tomorrow. New York Daily News, excuse me. So it will be an interesting show tomorrow, doing 2 fantasy drafts. Well, I'll see if I can guest on. Fun story. I'm actually in a dynasty league this year with Matt Miller of ESPN, friend of the show. We had him on around draft time, and I'm actually in a dynasty league with him this year. Funny story. Hope I beat him. Last year, I think he finished dead last in the league, so odds are stacked in my favor. But we will see what happens there. Andy says, would you rather Fields be the guy and use next year's number 1 pick to help in other areas, or have Fields fail and we have to find a QB? So I root for everyone who's in a New York Jets uniform, Andy. I want Fields to be the franchise quarterback. I do. I'd rather have Fields be the guy than have to have you look to catch lightning in a bottle with one of these first-round picks. The Jets have not been able to draft a quarterback. Why are we a team looking to change that trend? Why is this an organization looking to change that trend? Well, in your scenario, you can have it in the palm of your hand with Justin Fields. I go with Fields all day, and then you use that draft pick next year to shore up your defense. Potentially, you look at who's available there, or provide Fields with the weapons to then go win a Super Bowl. That's the way I look at it. I'm always more of an in-house guy than before you take your flyer in a draft. And we know the Jets are not the best at drafting quarterbacks. I'll just say that, Indy Jets. Thank you all for joining us here on the show. Peter Castro in the building, an optimistic Jet fan. There we go. Says Fields will take us to the playoffs. Go Jets. You gotta hope. You gotta hope, Peter. Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Most, how could you not subscribe to Kid Connor? I don't know, Momo. How could they not? Again, I guarantee 143 you guys watching live. I guarantee you not all of you are subscribed to the channel. So just look down, hit the like, hit subscribe because it is completely free if you haven't already. 2,075. So we got 2 more subs since we've been peppering in these PSAs, but we're going to hit 3,000 before the end of the year. That's not an ask. That's a promise that will be occurring. So smash the like button, hit subscribe, folks. We appreciate it. We appreciate support as always. I know there are some out there who are wondering about call-ins, blah, blah, blah. YouTube has been so annoying as always these past few days with links. It won't even let me throw the call-in link in the chat. I'm going to do some investigating tonight, tomorrow, and for tomorrow evening's show with Antoine Staley, the New York Daily News. I will make sure you guys have that call-in link up and you guys are all good to call in. Thank you all for joining us. And again, you can't call in on the show, unfortunately, because of the StreamYard, because of the YouTube issue. You still don't know what it is, but you can still engage in the chat, and that's what a ton of you guys have been doing. So keep supporting the show. Austin in the building. Shout out to you, Austin. Says Costas puts LI Sports Broadcasting on the map, Connor. You're keeping it there. LFG. Costas, excuse me. I don't know why I said Costas. Talking about the great Bob Costas. I mean, Austin, first off, thank you, my friend. I appreciate the kind words, but Bob Costas, baby. There is no one, there are not many people in this industry who have achieved what Bob Costas has throughout his incredible career. I'm looking up, as you see me looking down, 28 Emmy Awards it was. I'm trying to look where he was from in Long Island. Let's see if it was on Long Island. Where was Bob Costas from? Let's see this. Oh, it says in New York City. He's from Queens, it says. So Queens is... Look, I know he did a lot of stuff on Long Island. He spent a lot of time on Long Island. Queens is like... There's always that debate for the non-Long Islanders out there. You consider Queens Long Island. It's technically the city, but you don't have to take a bridge to get there. That's the way I think of it. If you don't have to take a bridge to get off the island to get somewhere, it's on the island. I can technically consider Queens a part of Long Island. Baby John wants in on the membership raffle. He gifts a membership, baby. Shout out to you, John.
These are some of the worst feelings in the world. Part 4. Number 1, we have when you think you're drinking water, but you're drinking vodka. Yeah, that happened to me.
Shout out to you, John. Thank you so much for your support here on the show as I try to pull up who your membership went to. That gets you another raffle entry, my friend. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for your support. As always, that membership went to Gotham FC Jets, and then John also gifted another membership that went to BL66. So double trouble for shout out to you, baby. Let's go, Jets.
That's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Damn straight, AG. Shout out to you, John. That gets you 2 more entries into our membership raffle occurring September 15th. You guys have been so generous throughout the show. Keep the super chats, keep the memberships flowing. They allow us to continue to upgrade the show in multiple different ways, and it keeps it up and running. So, guys, thank you so much. Keep them flowing. We appreciate it all. We appreciate the support. What I'm planning to do throughout the season, content-wise, because I know a lot of people are wondering that, is still the daily shows every night at 8 p.m. and then the Next Gen Extravaganza. The show with Chris and I that's happening on Saturdays right now at 9:30 is going to get moved to Fridays at 8. And then the Sunday show, since the Jets play on Sunday, is going to get moved to Saturday nights at 7. And then on top of that, I'm planning on doing like 2 videos a day. One that will be released morning for you guys, so you can wake up listening to it. Should be released about 5:30 a.m. every morning. And then another video that'll come out about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So we're planning big season content-wise. A daily live show, and then 2 videos every day. So a ton of content coming on this channel. Stay tuned, folks. You keep it coming. You keep supporting the show. We appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we appreciate support as always right here on the program. Eli says, no doubt I'm ready to overreact to a game. Overreact after one game, and I'm all in on Sellers. There we go. Struggling to read comments, which isn't the best sign as I start school tomorrow. Eli, nevertheless, we appreciate the support as always. Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. That's what Summer League's about in the NBA, and that's what Week 1's about in the NFL. The Jets lose. Bye, Aaron Glenn. Fields is the worst. Blah, 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 blah. Get him out. But I do think you have to win Week 1. I really, really think you do have to win Week 1. I think it's so important in general in storylines too, and the first year for a new head coach in Aaron Glenn, a new era of Jets football, just adds all that much. So, I hate to categorize it as in Week 1, but it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game for this team, and you start 1-0, you're alive. Anything that's 1-0 is alive. That's the way I think of it. But again, it stems just beyond that. The storylines, the fact that you have a first-year head coach going to make a statement. This game is very, very, very important for the Jets. Momo says, Connor, have you ever watched the New York jokes on YouTube? It's hilarious. It's 2 longtime Pain Jet fans watching the games crying in pain. It is so funny that you say this, Momo, because I actually stumbled upon their content earlier today for the first time, scrolling on YouTube. I saw it this morning, and I watched the video on like their best 2024 reactions. It was posted on their channel, and I watched it, and I was just dying laughing. And I sent it to Jack, Josh, and Chris in our next gen chat. I texted it to them, and they were like, "Oh my god, you haven't seen those guys?" I had never seen them before. I was just opening YouTube in the morning, as I typically do, and scrolling around, and it popped up. So I was like, "I gotta watch this," and it was a cesspool of hilarity. That is the way I would describe it. But again, I'm not a stranger to it. I mean, one of the plays, it was tough because I had to relive the 2024 lowlights by watching that clip. But some of the plays in that were brutal. The one that caught my eye most, where I was just like, "Oh my god, that is terrible," was the Rucker drop turned fumble in the Colts game, where Rodgers dropped back. He hit Rucker in the flat at the line. Rucker took like 3 steps and then just lost the ball, and Indy returned it. It was I didn't even remember the play. Frankly, I didn't remember a lot of the plays in those videos. These past few years, the Jets have been so miserable. It just feels like one huge gray cloud. It was tough reliving 2024 by watching that clip, but nevertheless, it was a cesspool of hilarity, and it was incredible. So they were, they make some super, super cool content. Shout out to you, Momo. We appreciate the support. I want to get into this question from John here. I just had it, and then I lost it. Man, StreamYard's annoying as hell. Here it is. It says, would you trade Brees for Myers straight up? I would not. I would not trade Brees Hall for Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers. I would not trade him for Jacoby Myers straight up. First, I don't think that deal would get through with the Las Vegas Raiders. I think they're looking for a lot more than just Brees Hall should they ship away Jacoby Myers. This team is going to be predicated on the rushing attack. Brees Hall is going to play a huge game in the passing attack as well. I'm not trading Brees Hall. I am not trading Brees Hall. So not only do I not think that would make sense for the Raiders, it wouldn't make sense for the Jets, a team that's predicated on running the football and running it down opposing teams' throats. But it's a fair thought, and it's a fair question, John. So I appreciate it, and thank you for spending some time with us right here on the show. David says, Connor, I would like to donate the soft sign frame photo that I won in the raffle a couple weeks ago to Addison. What a guy, David. What a guy. Well, Addison, I see you were in the chat earlier. I don't know if you're still there. If you are, actually, yes, I see you're still there. I'm about to throw my email in the chat, or you could just reach out to me on Discord, one of the two. Send me your address, and I will get that sign frame photo out to you, my friend. Thank you, David. You're a great guy. Shout out to you. And Addison, congratulations, my friend. Thank you all. We appreciate the support. As always, we appreciate you all. We appreciate the support right here on NY Flight Jet Stock, baby. 149 of you guys in the room. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, continue supporting the show. Goes a long way, and it keeps the channel up and running. Let's see, where were we in the chat? We went through, you guys have been great with the engagement tonight, with the super chats, with the membership. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the kind words. Let's see. Let's get to the final thoughts that you guys have in the chat before we wrap up. It's good to see all you guys in the building. David says, I'm surprised to at least some extent the Jets are going with 4 tight ends and a fullback on their 53-man roster start the year. I am too, especially after you picked up Jelani Woods, and you can't go into a game with 5 active tight ends. I don't think that makes any rational sense, which tells me a tight end's going to be inactive. That's looking to be Jeremy Ruckert. You have essentially 5 true tight ends with Mason Taylor, with Jeremy Ruckert, with Jelani Woods, with obviously Andrew Beck and then Stone Smart. I say Andrew Beck's a full tight end, a true tight end, because he's listed as a fullback, but has experience as a route runner, has played tight end at the NFL level. Why should he not be considered as a true tight end? Can run routes. We saw it first out of the preseason. So that leaves you 5 tight ends, 5 wide receivers. It didn't make sense to me why they didn't release Ruckert. You can't have 5 active tight ends in one game. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm still calling for Ruckert's head. I don't think it makes any sense as to why he's on this team's roster. There's nothing there blocking-wise. There is nothing there, clearly, pass-catching-wise. And you just added another young tight end who was a 3rd-round pick in the same draft, might you note. So it does not make sense to me, David. And the fact that you go ahead and release Tyler Johnson, who got first team reps throughout the summer, the fact that you released Tyler Johnson, who was a 5th-round pick in 2018, I think it was, and has made the most of every single NFL opportunity, and you roll with 5 wide receivers, one of which is a pure special teamer in Xavier Gibson, another puzzling decision, and then another who's a 4th-round rookie in Arian Smith. So there is so much intrigue and so many questions I have to ask the Jets from what they've done predicated on a pure roster building standpoint and where their roster thought process has come from. When you talk about rostering 5 tight ends / fullbacks, when you talk about rostering 5 wide receivers and just 5 wide receivers, it doesn't make sense to me. It really, really doesn't. You guys know I've been a huge advocate that I don't think it makes any sense. Jeremy Ruckert is on this team. Momo says, a lot of Jet fans at your college must cling to you and ask for your opinions. I appreciate it, Momo, but I'm not in college. Tomorrow is my first day of high school. So I'm 14 and I start 9th grade tomorrow. Start 9th grade tomorrow, baby. So looking forward to it for sure. Shout out to Momo. Look, I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate it as always. Thank you for the kind thought, thinking that I'm the go-to Jet source. There are not many Jet fans, and I don't think there is a Jet fan at my school. Excuse me. I don't think there's a Jet fan in my grade at my school, a true, real Jet fan. So, no, I'm not. I don't get asked a ton of Jet questions at school. I will say that, Momo. But nevertheless, thank you for the kind words, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Nick Shine in the building, the host of the Nick Shine Show. Be sure to sub to Nick, fellow Jets content creator. Does great work over there. Shout out to you, Nick. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the kind words. Says Connor, talk to mom. We got to get rid of this blue color scheme in your bedroom, in the bedroom. Green makeover. That's a good point, Nick. I've had a lot of people come to me and ask me, especially in the chat, why isn't your room green? Why isn't your room this? Why isn't your room that? We just moved into this house in January, it was. So we still have time to make some adjustments, but boy, oh boy, Gotham Green would look pretty in here. Gotham Green would look pretty in here. We could potentially facilitate a switch that would entail that, Nick. Thank you for the thought. And look, the Jets win this year. The Jets win more than 7 games for the first time I've been watching them. That switch will be made. Guaranteed. Sharon in the building. Shout out to you, Sharon. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Eli says, I bet Connor keeps his room almighty clean. No, alarmingly clean, excuse me. I was about to say almighty. Again, the text on StreamYard has been so messed up for me. I think I'm reading it on the wrong side on the chats here, and then instead of just reading it on the screen. No, my room is not clean at all. My room is very, very, very messy. There's a reason before every show, I just have a ton of stuff over there that you guys can't see. And before every show starts, I just have to go over and like kick it to the side so it won't be in the shop. But no, my room is the bed. My bed is never done. I have the raffle prizes next to me. It is not a very, very clean room, Eli, but we appreciate the support. Luppy, baby, he drops in and he gives a membership. Shout out to you, Luppy.
Breaking news!
Breaking news. Luppy is gifted a membership and it went to Tom Khalil. Shout out to you, Luppy. Thank you so much for gifting a membership, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the support. The fact that you're donating to get into the membership raffle, baby. It goes a long way. Shout out to you, Luppy. Thank you so much for all your everything you've given to the show, all your contributions. We appreciate it, Luppy. And thank you all for tuning in. As always, smash the like button, hit subscribe. I'm Connor Long, right here with you guys on NY Flight Jets. Guys, again, a season filled with so much great content coming ahead. We're doing 2 videos a day, a live stream every night. We're going to have guests on this program starting tomorrow all the way through Sunday. So we got a ton of fun content coming up, and you guys won't want to miss it, baby. Nick Shine Show. Nick Shine says, Connor going to have the senior girls driving him to and from school. Look, I don't think I've achieved that game yet, Nick, but there's still time. Look, tomorrow's just my first day of high school, so we'll see. We'll see how the first week goes, and I can provide you guys with a a full detailed report card, a full analysis of how everything went in that facet, Nick. Shout out to you, though, nevertheless. He drops in with his 4-month super chat. The great Nick Shine says, which games are you and Dad attending? Well, Nick, this is an interesting question, and thank you for being a member for 4 months. We appreciate the support. We're not going to a game as of now. My dad, when the schedule first came out, he's like, Connor, what game do you want to go to? What games do you want to go to? And we'll try to make it work. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to be completely honest with you. As of now, I don't have any interest in going into a Jet game this season. Especially week 1, you couldn't pry me off my couch to go to MetLife Stadium week 1. As of now, Nick, I'm not going to any games. Look, I have faith that this team will win and buy me back in. So I think I will be going to a Jet game this year. Just as of now, I have not picked one in particular. But when I do, Nick, if I do, probably when I do, I will definitely let you know, because I know you're trying to go to a bunch of the home games. So I will definitely let you know, and hopefully we can meet up. It's always great to interact with you in person as well, Nick, just be on the chat space. And all of you guys who I've been able to meet, it's all you guys who I've met, all you guys who I've had the opportunity to meet. It's been super, super fun getting to see you guys in person. It's crazy. Those know it's interesting, just like interacting in person. It's so different than you guys watching me talking to you guys on a computer screen. Those who haven't gone to like any of the meetups that Jake does, I know Nick and Jake are collaborating on a game meetup this year. I know a ton of Jet content creators do those games. I highly recommend going. It's a super fun experience, and it's great getting to meet the community, guys. And I want to go back to Nick's comment here quickly. Another reason why I don't want to go to like a game right away is, first, look, I'm one of those. It's like, if Jet's not going to win, why do I need to give him money? Another thing I will say is I love doing the pre and post game shows and doing all the coverage from home, being able to write for Jets X Factor. So that adds to it as well. Like, game experience is certainly fun, but like not being able to do coverage is the part that annoys me a little bit, going all the way to and from MetLife. So I'll add that in there as another reason. But shout out to you, Nick, nevertheless. Again, subscribe to the Nick Shine Show. Nick doing great work over there as well. Get him the 2K before the season starts, baby. Subscribe to Nick. Shout out to him. Thank you for joining us right here on the show. Addison's has got a Rocket Jets jersey the first day of school. Which one? That's the question. I got a handful of Jet jerseys that we can go through. And now that like I discovered DHgate and that it's a real thing, there are going to be a few more added to that collection. I'm thinking of Braylon Allen jersey as my next jersey. Braylon Allen or Austin McNamara, the punter. One of the two. Whose jersey should I rock? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. We appreciate you all. Momo says 9th grade. Are you kidding me? I am not kidding you, Momo. I am entering 9th grade. Middle school's in the books. High school. Here we come, baby. 9th grade. Indeed, that is, Momo. 9th grade, baby. So, yeah, I'm always, I like it when people think I'm older than I am. So I don't know if you were being sarcastic when you said college or not, Momo, but I subtly appreciated that. I always tend to, I like to act a little more above the level or echelon than an average 9th grader would act upon. I see some of you guys in the chat. MC saying Tony Adams just because you have one, as referring to the question of me saying that do I really have a Tony Adams jersey? And then Alan says, Connor, do you really have a Tony Adams jersey? You know what? I'm about to go in my drawer quickly. I'm going to play a quick bite. I will go into my drawer and try to find the Tony Adams jersey. Those who are just tuning in the meantime, as I find this is what we talked about the first of the show, at the top of the show, first topic that we got into. Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post talking about why he doesn't think Justin Fields should be the Jets starting quarterback and why I thought that was completely asinine. Here's the clip of Dunleavy talking to Zach Gell. In the meantime, I am going to find this Tony Adams jersey, folks. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Right here on Wi-Fi Jets Talk, baby.
You think people could expect to see out of Justin Fields this year? What would be a solid season for Justin Fields under center with the Jets?
Well, those are two different questions, Zach. What do I think people will see? I think they'll see the same Zach. I think they'll see the same Justin Fields that they've always seen, which is a good running quarterback who is not a very good passer. He can run the RPO game. He can do a lot of screens. I think the Jets running backs will have tons of catch. It'll be Garrett Wilson, and then it'll probably be Breece Hall and Braylon Allen as number 2 and 3 receivers on this team. I think that's what you can expect to see. Not a very one-dimensional offense. What would be a solid season? A solid season would be like Daniel Jones in 2022, where he plays, caretaker ball. I think Daniel had like 15 touchdowns and 5 picks that year, something like that, where you mix in his legs like Daniel mixed in his legs that year, and you let the defense win you the games. They have a decent offensive line, so you could do that formula. It doesn't leave you margin for error. But if you're asking me what a successful season for Justin Fields looks like, it's that. But you're also talking to somebody who thinks, all things being equal, if he's healthy, Tyrod Taylor's a better quarterback than Justin Fields.
No, you really do think that? Why is that?
I think he's better. I mean, I've seen him in practice for 4 years between the Giants and Jets. I've seen him in games. He takes more chances. He makes more plays happen. We call Tyrod Taylor among the media.
You are listening to NY Flight Jets Talk. Here's your host, Connor Long.
Folks, I hate to break it to you. I cannot find the Tony Adams jersey. It is somewhere. Those who watch the show know that I've worn the Tony Adams jersey before. Next show, I will pull up a screenshot of one of the prior shows where I was wearing a Tony Adams jersey. Unfortunately, I'm unable to find it right now. But I promise you guys, I have a Tony Adams jersey, and I have worn it on the show. This is not some act I'm trying to pull, that acting like I have a Tony Adams jersey to sound different. I do have a Tony Adams jersey. I just can't find it, unfortunately. But when I find it, I will rock it. And boy, oh boy, Nick Shine supporting the show in the paid way. He wants in on the raffle, and he gifts a membership, baby. Let's go.
Let's go eat a damn snack. Let's go eat a damn snack.
Shout out to you, Nick. Thank you so much for your support. Drums was gifted a membership by Nick Shine. Nick, we appreciate the support. Shout out to you for dropping in and gifting a membership here on the show. Again, subscribe to Nick's channel, The Nick Shine Show. Again, I would throw the link in the chat, but YouTube's been so annoying with links. Just search up The Nick Shine Show. Make sure you subscribe to that already. Nick does incredible work. Nick says, dirty room equals not being able to find a jersey. That's what happens. With school coming back and getting more back into a scheduled daily swing of things, I will the room will become more cleanly, and I will be able to find the jersey. Guaranteed, assured 100%. Shout out to you, Nick. Thank you so much for supporting the show. As always, David D says, Connor, I'm surprised considering that the Jets trained Hofstra for decades. I would have figured there would be many Jet fans with father/mother influencing their children to become Jet fans. Yeah, I'm not even joking. In my grade, there is probably not one Jet fan. There aren't just football fans in general. The kids who like sports, and well, there's one kid who like actually knows some ball who's a Giants fan, so I chop it up with him sometimes. When you talk about sports, the kids that the sports that the kids watch in my grade, it's not there's not one singular. There's that one baseball fan who likes the Mets, so I talk Mets with him. There are a couple hockey players who say they're hockey fans, but don't really follow a team all that closely. I'm trying to think for the 4 major sports. The kid who knows Giants football is he's a Knicks fan. So talk basketball, but football, there's one football fan. Yeah, there is not much there. There is not much there. So I appreciate the comment, David. And it's surprising to me too. I live on Long Island. They practice at Hofstra. Football, the biggest American sport viewership-wise. The young audience nationwide, around America, really around the globe. There are a lot of kids who watch and like football my age. Guess just happens it's not at my school. But yeah, football is not all that popular in my grade. Nix's Connor had one choice: learn the Jets or learn to read well. We see what he chose. I chose to learn the Jets. Look, it's so funny. I stumble upon the comments all the time, but like I like to consider myself a pretty good public speaker. It's just so crazy because like the StreamYard's on one tab. I'm trying to like navigate and then read other comments while you notice sometimes I'll be reading a different comment with one eye while I'm trying to read the comment that's on screen and analyze it and talk about it. So it's yeah, I had one choice, and I chose the one that I think is more beneficial to you all here on the show when we talk about giving just flat up takes and insight. Alan says, Connor, please clean the room when you invite the high school cheerleader over. Look, desperate times call for desperate measures. So in said case, obviously you need to act more buttoned up. You need to have everything prepared, and you need to be dressed to the nines as well. So desperate times call for desperate measures. Like I said, Alan, shout out to you. Leppy says, Connor Brees will ball this season. His pass catching will put him over the top this season. Look, he has an opportunity to get in that 500 receiving yard range. And he has an opportunity to get in that 500 receiving yard range like we saw him touch in 2023. What do you have? I think he had 586 receiving yards it was in 2022. We can fact check that live here on the show. I'll see how many receiving yards he had. He had a ton of receiving yards that year. Receiving last 591. So nearly 600 yards. He had 483 last year. So people forget he still played a role as a pass catcher last year. It was just marred by a ton of drops, by a ton of missed passes. So it's interesting when you talk about Brees Hall and the impact that he's going to have in a passing attack. I think he's going to have a lot more targets because gradually Fields is going to push the ball downfield. Fields is going to, rely more on checkdowns, where Rodgers instead pushed the ball more downfield, and he was looking for the bigger plays. He was trying to hit Garrett Wilson more. He was trying to hit Devontae Adams. Fields is going to rely more on the screen game, the short game, his check down options, that etc. So that's why I think that he's going to be more involved as a pass catcher. Plus, the Jets don't have a Devontae Adams this year. They have Garrett Wilson. They have a second-round tight end in Mason Taylor. After that, all the targets are wide open. Arian Smith could take a chunk of that. A player like Josh Reynolds could take a chunk of that. So the receiving room, however, is really wide open. So look for Brees Hall to make an impact out of the backfield. Another name that I'm looking at to make an impact out of the backfield is fullback Andrew Beck. We saw that game one of the preseason. He pretty much locked up his roster spot after that game against the Green Bay Packers. And boom, he didn't play really any meaningful snaps in the preseason the rest of the way. The Jets seem to be really, really high on him. Keep in mind, he has the history with Darren Muji. He's the history with Darren Muji and the Denver Broncos. He was the Jets' first ever free agent addition all the way back in March. Keep an eye on Andrew Beck out of that backfield to be an X factor. Josh, on the Sunday show that we do last night, actually labeled him as the biggest X factor for the season. So high expectations for Andrew Beck this season. And look, you're rolling with 5 tight ends. All 5 of them better have a role. I know you're going to run block heavy. I know we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel. We're going to see a lot of 13 personnel. But you're rostering 5 tight ends, same amount of receivers you have. You better have a role for all 5, along with the running game as well, because that's what this offensive identity is going to be predicated upon, Luppy, the ability for this team to create space and run the football. So that's what that's how I'll answer your question there. Look, I think he has potential to have a big year, but he got to hold on to the football. He can't fumble. Got to reduce the drops. He has an opportunity to have a big season rushing and receiving wise, but it's about minimizing the mistakes, and that's what ultimately marred his season last year. Thank you all for joining us right here on NY Flight Jets Talk. Smash the like button and hit subscribe, because again, it is completely free of charge, and it continues to support the show. We are back tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST, live with Antoine's Daily New York Daily News. Again, check your feed. Check the feed on this channel every day again for videos. We're going to try to release 1 to 2 videos every single day here on the show. Continue supporting the show. It means a lot. Shout out to you guys. We appreciate it. As always, stay tuned, folks. A great season ahead and a ton of content to come with it. We appreciate the support as always. That'll do it for me. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off right here on NY Flight Jets Talk, saying have a great rest of your evening, everyone. And as always, JTS, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets. Peace out.